Welcome in. It is day 183, and you're speaking to the Meeples Champion. And that's right, it's day 183. That means we are officially at the dead center of our 1 year, 365-day challenge. Wow, can't believe we got here. We're at the 6-month mark. It's pretty impressive. Somehow I keep finding more games, and I haven't had to go out and start begging stores to let me borrow games. I still have quite a bit left in my collection to go through. I still have plenty of my friends' games to go through. I am not expecting to be running into any issue as far as hitting 365, but making sure to get a video out every day is not easy. So I hope everybody who is watching these videos are enjoying them. And if it's years down the line and you're getting to them at some point, still great. This is just a kickoff year, and hopefully next year, when I have all these videos up and I've had a chance to explore, I'll be able to add really cool new content to this channel. Whether that be going into the expansion type stuff, doing playthroughs, doing how to plays, or expanding out to other versions of gaming, whether that be video games or potentially going somewhere into the poker direction. I have lots of ideas, and this has just been a great first year to start off. And here we are again, day 183. And we are going to be going into the abyss of day 183. We're going to talk about the game Abyss. That's right. We are talking about my wife's Christmas present for me this year, Abyss. Now, I was really excited because I had about 4 games I had listed that were ocean-themed games, games that were clearly in the water. This one always throws me. I kept hearing great things about Abyss, and it wasn't on that 4-game list for a while, because every time I saw the box, I thought it was a monkey. So I kept being like, oh, it's a gorilla. This must be something in the Congo or something like that. And then every time I'd go and I'd watch a video about it, I'd be like, this is in the water? Oh, that's a merman? it, it threw me. I will fully admit, but I love the box. I think that the box is really cool, and it just pulled me in, and I kept trying and trying and trying to find a way to play it because I thought it looked like it would be interesting, but I wasn't sure. Well, I literally played it today for the first time. My wife sat with me, played a 2-player version of it, made some mistakes, but we figured out what they were. So the concept of the game is you have your setup, and you start the game off with a pearl. The pearl is essentially your currency. Now, when your turn starts, if you want, if there are any empty spots below where your lords are, you can pay a pearl per lord to fill into those spots. Otherwise, you start the game off and you have the option of 1, drawing off the top of the cards at the top to try to build your hand. Now, when you do this, the possibilities are you can get anywhere from a 1 to a 5 in up to the 5 different suits, or you can pull a monster card. When you pull one of these cards, if it's not a monster, starting to your left, every other player has an option to pay 1 pearl to take that card. Then, when you do the next card, they have the option to pay 2 pearls, and then 3 pearls, going on and on. However, as you're doing this, what's also important to remember is that when they get through the whole group and nobody wants it, now you can choose to take it for free. The instant you get a card, it's over. However, if you choose not to, the card goes into a spot, and you go for the next card. And if you get a monster card, it's the same thing. There's a whole group of things to the side that basically says, hey, you pulled the monster. Do you want to get a pearl? Or would you like to pull a random point factor from the left? You don't know what it is. It could be a 2, a 3, or 4. It's final game points. You don't want to? You want to keep going? Okay. You move the thing down. Now, the next time, if you were to another monster, it would say, do you want 2 pearls? Or do you want to pull 2 of these from the left? And you keep going. Eventually, it gets to the point of it being worth up to 2 keys. We'll get to keys soon. So, you do that. Once you've maxed out to the end, if you've chosen nothing, the last card has to be yours, but you get with it a pearl. Then, all the cards that you drew, if it's any monster cards, those go away. The rest of them, you have to separate them into their different colors, flip them face down, put them into their piles. They now are part of what will be round 2 options. If you didn't want to draw from up there and there were any piles, instead you could pick a color. You can't look in the pile. You can't count the cards in the pile. You can just see that there's at least a card there, and you can grab the pile, and that's your whole turn. You add the whole pile to your hand. Or you can purchase a lord. Now, the way the lords work is the lords have a value in the corner that they're worth, and a number of bubbles. So let's say you're looking at one that says, all right, it's a 10, and it's got 3 bubbles, and one of the bubbles is yellow. What it means is you have to pay a value of 10. The value has to be split amongst 3 different colors of the different cards from above, and at least one of those colors has to be a yellow. Now you can spend multiple cards, so you could end up saying, okay, well, I've only got the one of yellow, but that's fine. And then I got a green and I got a blue. I've only got 1s and 2s, but I can add them all up. I get to 10, I'm good. You pay them all, and then you can get your Lord. If you don't have enough, you can spend pearls to represent each additional number. So if you get to 8, you can spend 2 pearls and get to 10. Once you get the Lord, in the corner, top left, they'll have a value that it's actually victory points for the end of the game. Possibly in the top right, you might have it come also with a key, which means now you have one of the keys you're looking to collect. Again, we'll get to those more soon. And then it will potentially come with an ability. The ability giving you either a immediate one-time only ability or a constant ability. So you get your Lord, put it below, you're done. Now, if you ever get to the point where you've drawn and you've gotten 4 Lords off the board, you'll see it uncovers a 2 pearl spot. You'll immediately get 2 pearls and you refill the whole row. Otherwise, you leave it as is. So there's 6 spots open, potentially up to 3 could be empty. So during this game, as I mentioned, you're getting these keys. Whenever you get 3 keys, you do not have a choice. You immediately have to take a location. So now the locations starts off with 1 being revealed. And when you get to pick a location, you either can choose a face-up location and you simply spend your keys and you get it. Any keys being spent that came from a particular Lord, you have to now cover that Lord's ability with the location, meaning you no longer get it. So if you had a Lord that said every round you start the round off by taking a pearl for free, that's gone now. So you cover up any Lords that were part of that for the keys. Or if you don't want the face-up one, you can draw from the top. However, you have to give your number immediately. You can draw 1, 2, 3, or 4 of the locations. You're only keeping 1. So the more that you draw, the more likely you have a chance at getting a really good location to add to your group for points. The problem is that anything you don't keep is now part of the face-up location options. So all of a sudden, your opponent could get to their turn, they get their 3rd key, they look and they go, wow, you just gave me 3 new locations, so maybe they have a perfect one for them. Or they don't like them, but now they're out of the way, so now they could draw up to 4 and have a really good chance at hitting gold for their points. These locations tend to do stuff like, all right, for every one of the green Lords you have, you're going to get 3 bonus points, or you're going to get 2 for every one of those, plus like a 3 on top of that. Or you can get the jail, which is 15 points, but for every Lord you own, you lose a point off of it. So there's a lot of ways that these work, but they're all point makers. Then you keep going back and forth until eventually somebody draws their 7th Lord. It also says when the Lord pile runs out, but I'm not really worried about that side. That's unlikely to happen. The pile running out is less likely, at least in a 2-player game. Maybe in the 4-player max you could, but in the 2-player, it's really about those Lords. When somebody draws their 7th, they finish their turn, and then everybody but them gets 1 more turn. So you all get a chance to take your last turn, and then you start counting points up. The points are pretty simple. You're going to count them based on what the Lords are worth. You're going to count them based on anything that you had for the face downs that you got from the monster fights. You're going to count them for anything for your locations. And then for all the cards that you had left in your hand, each color you separate out, and the highest number of each color you put face up. And those will score for that number. So potentially, if you were really lucky, you could have all 5 5s and end up having 25 points there. Or you could end up having just like 2 colors and you only have like a 1 and a 2 and you're getting 3 points. Either way, that's the 4 ways to score your points. And then you see who wins. It's a really fun game. I had a great time playing it. But we've done a long explanation on this just because I played it so recently today. I want to jump into this game, talk our 7 categories. This is going to be kind of a speed run. I don't want this game video to be too... Let's go into the art first. The box is amazing. The board is amazing. I think that this is a uniquely cool art. It's a big thumbs up. Your components. They do a really good job on those pearls. I really like them. I also like the cups that they supply for them. They're not necessarily really big on the theme, but they're just a really cool cup. I think that the locations are great cardboard. The cards that you're using for your lords and for your different location, the pieces up top are really good. Your keys, your secret points on the side, your board, everything's top notch. Thumbs up. Your price. Abyss is unlikely to be found in, say, a Target, but you are going to find it potentially in a Barnes & Noble and probably in 3, maybe 4 out of every 5 board game stores. And you're going to be looking at this game being in that range of about $50. It could be up to $60, but that's your range. And for me, there is plenty of game here. Just playing at the one-time 2-player, I went, okay, there's a 2-player game here, but it's got some game to it. But I could see the potential in a 3 and a 4-player game. I'm already excited to try to get this out at max player count. And if it's really fun to see if I can get maybe one of those expansions like the Leviathan and get up to 5 players and see what that does. I think it's worth its money. It's a thumbs up. Your difficulty. So the difficulty is, again, 2-player was fun, but I could see this with more players where the difficulty gets really interesting because it's about mitigating your risk. The longer you take picking cards up top, the more opportunity you're filling in those bottom rows. The more that you are buying lords below, the more likely that you're going to end up getting to the point where somebody's able to refill, get those extra pearls, get that additional guys out there, see what they can get. If you're going to the side, you're getting pure victory points. That's great. But if you're not building up your locations and you're not building up your lords, you're going to be running into some issues. That being said, I think that there's definitely some possibilities here for the difficulty to really fit where a kid or a beginner can play this game and enjoy it, but those experienced and expert players can see this on other levels. I think it fits for everybody. It's a thumbs up. Your replayability. Now, I only played it the one time. My wife has been a little bit tougher to get to the boards these days. She made an effort to come down today, but we were going right out for a walk after the game. And so I didn't get to play right away again. I would have jumped at it, and she liked the game. I think she would have normally been able to if we had had that opportunity. That being said, I think the replayability for this being played back to back is there. And definitely it's a game I could see asking her to play on a weekly basis. It's definitely a thumbs up. Keys to victory, no pun intended. So the keys to victory are there. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on trying to get more locations? Are you focused on trying to get more lords? Are you trying to get those bonus points? Are you trying to fight the monsters so that you can build up the key supply so that you don't have to worry about spending off the lords that have the keys? There's so much possibility here, and I really, really like it. I think that this game has plenty of keys to victory. It's a thumbs up. Unique. Is the game unique? So the theme obviously fits right in with those water themes I've been talking, the ocean themes. But what I am really impressed by this game on is that you find a way to do 2 decks that interact with each other that need the pearls to help you when it comes to going and buying these cards from when other people are using them, to then get the keys to get you into the deck of the locations. And you're just balancing these all out, trying to get as many points as you can. I honestly felt that the upper deck and the lower deck, I've seen stuff like that before. But bringing in those locations, I thought was really cool. And the fact that, yes, you could lose some of your better abilities because they come with a key and you have to spend them and cover them up with the location, or you could just dodge those guys, get your keys during the battles, and that's the way you get locations to build up your points. I think there's so much uniqueness to this game. I haven't seen another game like it quite yet. It's a big thumbs up. Overall, what do I think? This is a game I highly recommend you to give a try. I think it is definitely worth your time to play the game. I think that if you're an expert player or an experienced player, this is one you may want to add to your collection. I can actually see this game, especially now that I know there's a couple expansions, and I'm going to want to look into these once I've had some time to play this game for a while. I don't like to buy expansions too quick. But based on the style of this, I can actually see this game becoming a household named game in the realm of Seven Wonders. The idea of building a deck of cards that you run the game with, and then having expansions that bring in new aspects and new decks. Seven Wonders goes quickly because it's a drafting game. This is not drafting, but I could see this being almost like that next tier above them. And because of how we've advanced in gaming, where a game like Seven Wonders now is an entry level game, whereas 20 years ago that would have been one of the more complicated games, I feel. I could see this game in the next 5 years being a entry level game because we're just advancing that fast in gaming. That being said, it's up to you to decide what games you want. Are you into these kind of games? Again, it's card based, but it's a board game. You feel that board game feel. And is it for you or is it not? That's up for you to decide. Well, it has been day 183, and we've been speaking about the game Abyss. And you've been speaking to the Meeples Champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description. We'll be adding an Amazon link in case you want to get this game for your collection. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.